Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about everything professional wrestling from AEW, WWE, to Stardom, to Ring of Honor, to TNA. We talk about it all here on the GSMC Sports Network. It is Thursday, guys. It is a beautiful Thursday. It is oh man, almost Friday. I know a lot of you guys are counting down the days to Friday. Me, I work on the weekends, so Friday ain't really no big deal to me. Usually count down to Saturdays, especially coming up. You're gonna have the new NFL season. It's gonna be, oh God, I can't wait. Tonight was actually a game between the Giants and the Jaguars. No, the Lions that I kind of wanted to watch. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig on into this right now. Tonight you have we're gonna talk about our Thursday night wrestling preview in our second segment. First, we're going to start off with AEW talk. Then, after our Thursday night wrestling review, we're going to talk about recently Dave Bautista said in an interview that if he could play any superhero besides, what he's playing right now, Drax and all that, he wants to play Bane. Feels like he can play a pretty good Bane inside the not the MCU. No, not Capcom. Capcom is Street Fighter, I believe, right? In video games? No, a DC. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't remember DC. To being brutally honest, I kind of feel like DC is, it lacks in terms of, trying to establish continuity inside of superhero movies. But, we're going to talk about some wrestlers that were in superhero movies. And then in our fourth segment, we're going to jump on into some way, 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 way too early WWE Bash at Berlin predictions, what I think is going to happen, some of the matches that are going to be on there. And we're just going to, tear it up. And the fifth and final segment on every Thursday, we have our Thursday Superstar Spotlight. This week, we have the Ace of Spades, Shayna Baszler. So, yeah, we have a pretty great show for you today on tap. But before we get started, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, and concerns. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. We get a number of questions from viewers like you that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air in front of millions of people, I urge you guys to use the GSMCpodcast.net link. Use the tips and donations, obviously. Anything is greatly appreciated. 1,010%. But mostly, I just want to hear what you guys have to say about, what we're talking about here in professional wrestling. Maybe name some of your favorite superhero movies. We'll dig on into that if it has a wrestler in it. Because if we go too off tangent, if we have too much fun, then of course, it's gonna run out of time, and I'm like, yeah, we got this GSM. We got to just talk about some good old fashioned wrestling. And remember, Superman Punch, that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the GSMC Sports Network. Remember, at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, baby. 1,010%. Once again, the link is to the GSMCpodcast.net. All right, so here we go. We got AEW Dynamite. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. AEW Dynamite is coming fresh. Salem, North Carolina. I guess there's a hurricane that's heading toward there, and I guess it enabled the conglomerations, Kyle O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe, to travel to the AEW event. Of course, you had the trios match, but we'll get into that. Of course, AEW Dynamite always starts off with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the best wrestler in the world. I'm better than you, and you know it. So we saw an AEW American Championship Eliminator match between him and Kyle Fletcher. Don Callis sat ringside, and he was talking about how Kyle Fletcher should separate business and pleasure, basically saying, why do you have to stick your neck out for someone who left the Don Callis family in Will Ospreay? You saw Will Ospreay looking on, and then it was a pretty good match. It was a great match, to be honest. I think, Kyle Fletcher definitely deserves a shot at MJF's title in the future, but right now I think it's the Bastard Pack. I think, I think he's the number one contender. So you saw in the middle of the match, you saw MJF disrespectively spits in the face of Kyle Fletcher. The biggest disrespect that you can do to a man to man, is just to spit a big I didn't want to say it, but a big loogie right in front of right in front of your eye, and then, dude, it got in his eye. You can tell the whole match. He was like, "Ah, I can't believe this just happened." Like, it was, it made for great TV. I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was kind of cool. Definitely got the blood boiling a little bit. We got an AEW chant. People were saying, obviously AEW is where the best wrestle, and we got the AEW, AEW, and then once again, Don Callis. I don't know why he's obsessed with this screwdriver, but he threw the screwdriver much like he did to Will Ospreay during the match, and Will Ospreay didn't want to use it against Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And much like Kyle Fletcher did, he did not want to use it against Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He kind of threw it to the side, just a distraction, just enough for Kyle Fletcher to be brutalized. After that, you saw MJF attack Fletcher. Blood was, and he said to Will Ospreay, he said, "This blood, Kyle Fletcher's blood, is on your hands, Ospreay." And Don Callis at the end of the match was just shocked. He was pissed off because Kyle Fletcher got hurt, but ultimately Kyle Fletcher got hurt, got put in that position because of Will Ospreay. That's obviously how he feels about it. Blaming Will Ospreay, telling him, "Hey, where were you? Where were you? Why weren't you out here?" And yeah, it was kind of crazy. Then we had the Mariah May squash match against Viva Van. At the end of the match, of course, you saw Mariah May win, but then you saw the gift from Tony Storm, where it was Tony Storm, coddling the glamour Mariah May. And then on the back of the poster, it read, "Die, Mariah, die." It was it was pretty good. It was a good promo. All in all, you saw the girls go absolutely ballistic toward each other. A lot of, oh, this match is going to be great. This match is going to be great. And it's been rumored that Mina Shirakawa also will be coming to AEW Dynamite full time. So maybe perhaps, another stable in the mix. Perhaps Mariah May, Mina Shirakawa, join forces to kind of create and kind of, ruin Tony Storm's life, because Tony Storm, her protege was Mariah May, and now you have her two opponents. Obviously she faced Mina Shirakawa at AEW. It wasn't Double or Nothing. Damn it. What was it? Was it a Forbidden Door? And, so obviously a lot of, animosity between there. Next, we saw a promo between Jack Perry smashing the TV, saying he smashed the past. It was kind of crazy because I saw Samoa Joe on the screen, and I swear to the Lord, I thought at the very last TV screen being smashed, I thought that was Cody Rhodes. I don't know why, but it kind of looked like Cody Rhodes a little bit. And it just, shook the AEW audience, because Cody Rhodes is obviously a founder. Him, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks teamed up with, Jaguars owner Tony Khan. Well, part owner Tony Khan. And, they established this, Ted Turner Wrestling on TNT and TBS, and AEW Dynamite birth in 2019. It's about 5 years old. It's coming on its 5 year anniversary. Actually, I think it already passed. Already hit about 250 episodes, which is pretty cool. Honestly, that's a pretty huge, But Jack Perry, I feel like Jack Perry, you saw Darby Allin in a promo basically telling Jack Perry that you haven't really been on Dynamite ever since, the whole blood and guts thing. And, it's only been a week, maybe 2 weeks. But Darby Allin, he's trying to play head games, trying to play mind games, trying to get in the head of the scapegoat. But the scapegoat already kind of seems deranged to begin with. So, it's kind of crazy. And I guess I didn't really see this on my TV. I could have, passed it. But I think over on the East Coast, or on another television, kind of viewing or whatever, I think during the promo you randomly saw a Taco Bell commercial happen in the middle of it, and it, obviously it caused AEW, made them irate, that they're like, all right, like, you can't just. Well, the last time in sports you saw a Taco Bell commercial air in in an impromptu, fashion, is when Nikola Jokic was drafted by the Denver Nuggets, and he was drafted, obviously it's like, oh, the Denver Nuggets draft Nikola Jokic, Serbia, and then like all of a sudden it's like, come to get a chalupa, the Mexican pizza. Come get the styling box with your nacho fries and cinnamon twists, and wash it down with the Mountain Dew. Baja Blast. No, it's just, I don't know. It was just kind of funny. It was kind of crazy how that kind of all works out. But all in all, I don't think it ruined the promo too much. But at the same time, I was like, damn. Jack Perry, the scapegoat, loves himself some Taco Bell. Next, we saw Brian Keith against Katsuyori Shibata. Shibata was able to pick up the victory. Taz was escorted out of the announce booth, which kind of makes me think. I kind of get the feeling that just because you have Samoa Joe out, Katsuyori Shibata Hook, the returning Hook returned as well tonight. They're learning to attack Shibata after the match. They're going to need a tag team partner, and Taz has kind of committed to the fact that he will never ever, wrestle again inside the squared circle. But at this point, your son needs help. And New Japan Professional Wrestling, legend in the making. Katsuyori Shibata needs help as well. I think he laces his boots up at AEW All-In. I'm going to put my, put the house on that. Next, we saw Jim Ross interview with Swerve Strickland. Swerve obviously looking pretty damn motivated, saying that he controls the narrative. He doesn't care about Bryan Danielson's family, Brie, his kids. He wants Bryan Danielson's legacy to belong to him after AEW All-In at Wembley Stadium. He wants to retire him, much like, to everybody's chagrin. But overall, you have to respect what Swerve, what he kind of did in that promo. Kind of gave me a little bit of heel vibes, and then he came out like when we're going to talk about at the end of the night. And I don't know, but he's just being him. He's just being Swerve Strickland. Next, we have a trios match. Orange Cassidy and FTR defeated Roderick Strong, Rouge, and Beast Immortos. The Acclaim came out to confront FTR. They're going to fight in the future. Obviously, you have the Acclaim, the number one contenders for the Young Bucks, AEW Tag Team Champions. I did not really see them as well. The Elite, no Okada, no Young Bucks. Once again, like what we talked about in our last show, that this faction, this gimmick, it's not working. The Young Bucks look weak. Okada looks weak. And, Jack Perry's probably the only person that's, kind of getting his. And, it's kind of a shame because all of them are great superstars. All of them are great superstars. They came with, with promising futures in AEW. And another ironic feature is that they all hold gold. They all hold gold. It's crazy. But it's just not working. I think Tony Khan should, wise up sooner rather than later. Next, you saw the CEO come out. She had her muscle Camille fighting in a 2-on-1 squash handicap match. You saw Britt Baker come out and tell the CEO when the hardships happen to Mercedes Moné, she runs, kind of giving some giving some feedback, kind of giving her some lashback over at what happened between her and WWE. In the main event, we saw Double J lose to Bryan Danielson's in an anything goes match. You saw Ricky Steamboat, the special guest referee. Well, kind of like the enforcer. We did have a real referee out there. You saw show respect at the end of the night. They shook hands. Obviously, Jeff Jarrett wants to get Bryan Danielson ready for AEW. The AEW World Heavyweight Championship match at AEW's All-In at Wembley Stadium against Swerve Strickland. And you just saw Swerve Strickland come out basically saying that, hey, honestly, you had a warm-up match, and I want to show you that I can warm up as well. I'm going to take on Wheeler Yuta next week on Dynamite. So, a lot of cool stuff. It was a great AEW Dynamite. I feel like it's hitting on all cylinders. And I think I read somewhere that they, in their age 19 to like 41 demographic, they hit about 650,000 viewers, which is impressive, which is actually pretty damn great. All right, guys. Well, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into my Thursday night wrestling preview. We're going to jump into the world of Ring of Honor and the ring of TNA Impact. So, hey, do not go anywhere.